Well, regardless, we march on, we move on. Despite losing our final 3 games of the year, we finished with a 9-5 record. I don't know if we'll be ranked. First thing to do will be to go to the right settings tab. I like a challenge. I don't like getting cheese. So Heisman difficulty, you can fuck off because you're not hard, you're cheap. So very rough end to our season. Rough way to send off our seniors. This team very much did not live up to its full potential. We do get 4-star gem running back Jared Kaiser out of Sinton, Texas. That's another good addition there. Obviously, you saw how much talent we're about to lose. Apparently, Conference Player of the Week was 27-0. I don't know how many other people were even playing in conference. So, good for him. Did we get the staff that we were looking for? We got both Rashawn Lindsay and Mike Robinson. They didn't exactly have good debuts, though, did they? We need to go back and check conference champions. And then we'll double-check the bowl games, of course. So, Mid-Tennessee State, of course, gets promoted out of Conference USA for beating us. Next up in the Pac-12, Houston is getting that promotion, winning the Pac-12 conference title. North Carolina wins the Big 12. Bowling Green beats UMass for the MAC. You have Wake Forest winning the Sun Belt over Rice. BYU win the American Conference crown. Rutgers win the Mountain West. They'll get promoted. Notre Dame won the SEC for bragging rights of the top tier. ACC goes to UCLA. Favorites there. And Wisconsin won the Big Ten. They'll get promoted to the top tier. USC might as well. So, there we go. Those are the promotion relegations. Let's take a look at the updated bracket. As Wisconsin beat Louisville, they'll play Notre Dame. Ohio State beat Hawaii, they'll play Virginia Tech. Michigan over UCLA, they'll play Kansas State. And LSU over North Carolina, they'll play Washington State. Tough loss there for UNC. That is the updated bracket. Let's continue on here. Nothing else for us to do up until the portal opens. As we get 4-star gem tight end George Stevenson out of Eldridge, Iowa. Welcome in, George. And we'll look at the playoff bracket again. Notre Dame over Wisconsin. Virginia Tech upset Ohio State. Kansas State upsets Michigan, while LSU beats Washington State. So we got Notre Dame and Virginia Tech, Kansas State, and LSU. So 2 programs you're not surprised by, and then a couple of underdogs, especially Virginia Tech at 7-6. I don't know how the fuck it decided that, but fair play. We advance. Who will the national title game be between in Season 5? It will be Kansas State and Notre Dame. Kansas State knocks out Michigan and LSU. Notre Dame gets through Wisconsin and Virginia Tech. AT&T Stadium, the site. Notre Dame against Kansas State for the national title. Who's it going to be? Who's it going to be? As we get 4-star gem free safety Alan Paxson out of Ocala, Florida. Another recruit for us. Actually, he wasn't a gem. We now have A- pro potential. Our conference prestige is at a C. Coach stability a C+. Coach prestige down to a B. This is where we are suffering from those losses in the big games. Our athletic facilities have gotten better, though. Thank God. Your national champions in Season 5, Kansas State. That is our first, Pittsburgh's up there, too. But that is probably the biggest underdog team that we've seen win a national title so far. Kansas State, your champions in Season 5, 2028. God damn. Take a look at that roster. Kansas State over Notre Dame. Long scroll up there, but intrigued at the roster for the Wildcats. They're not bad. They're not bad. I mean, only one guy at a 90 overall. That's Boone Morris as a linebacker. 83 rated quarterback, Blake Barnett. Holy fucking quarterbacks. Jesus Christ. 86 running back. I mean, I'm sure Notre Dame had the better team, but they're not terrible. Yeah, Notre Dame blew it, man. They had plenty of 90 overall players. Couldn't get it done, though. Putting a Bryce Young at defensive end. So fair enough. K-State gets the job done. That Elton John. Oh no, I wasn't looking at the names. I was only looking at the overalls. Might have been John Elton. It's Elton Paul. Elton Paul. So Season 5 in the books. A little bit of a disaster for us at the end. That's for sure. That is for sure. We got 4-star tight end Gabe Trapasso out of Denton, Texas. Not bad, not bad. That brings us to players leaving. We know this is going to be painful. Yeah. At quarterback, this man's getting a statue. We should have started him for the bowl game. It wouldn't have made a difference. Bryce Frost. What a guy. Absolute hero that got us our first promotion. Running back Tavian Grant gone as well. Again, we're going to see every single original member left from this team is now moving on. Wideouts. He'll have a statue right next to Bryce's. It's LJ Young Jr. We also say goodbye to Treyan Bell. And then Colt Simon. Great transfer that we brought in. I was going to say LJ Young and Bryce Frost. Yeah, name the field after him. Ooh. Elijah Greenwood Jr. I think we made the right call moving him to tight end. He's projected as a first-round pick in the NFL draft. Whew. All right, Mr. Greenwood. We lose Grant Huff, an 86 overall tackle. Damian Green, 83 overall guard. 84 center Andrew Spanway, 86 center Jermaine Houston, and 84 overall right tackle Isaiah Crowder. TBTT graduates having never been redshirt, at least not for the full season. He's projected as a 4th-round pick. And John Decker IV also graduates. Defensive tackle, I lied, linebacker, we say goodbye to Draymond Gates. 88 overall linebacker. We also lose James Couch Smith. At corner, DeMarvin Holland, the interception that sealed our promotion. And a 4th-round projected pick, 69 me Don, one of our first ever recruits. At safety, Ben Laney, the man who blew it against Western Kentucky because Heisman difficulty's cheap. And we also say goodbye to Michael Roderick Jr. and Chris Ellinger, as well as former Kicker of the Year, George Lincoln III, although he was much worse in his senior year as opposed to his junior year. So again, we are losing a decent amount of players that we have to find a way to replace. We continue to approach level 25 here as a coach. See if we can overcome it. In terms of draft results, Greenwood Jr. does go in round 1, TT in round 3, 69 me down in round 4. Gates and Holland also get drafted, both in the 6th round. So we graduated 5 players to the pro level. Easily our most in a single draft. That brings us to the portal. And we got 3 players left on our board here that were already here. I want to double check the prospect list for anybody that may have changed their mind at 5 or 4-star. And doesn't appear as though that's going to be anybody. So Let's go to the portal. 5 stars, nobody, is my guess. No 5-star transfers. What about 4 stars? Quite a few, and none of them want to come here. Having players get drafted does help, yeah. I don't think we're going to go for any last-second 3 stars, so nobody in the portal from the looks of it. I mean, unless we take a look at these guys and find out that they're gems and maybe really good, but our board's going to pretty much hold strong at the 11 that we've brought in so far. So Brian Yolito, we know that you're still good. Get you in for a visit this week. Sell you on playing time. And from there, actually, instead of that, do we have a sell for you? Playing time? No, we don't have priorities that line up. 900 hours, by the way, to spend here is nuts. Alan Isaacs, we'll get you scheduled this week. Let's talk about pro potential. Actually, a different one would have been better, but can't change it now. Anything I can sell you on? We need championship, contender, and pro potential. There we go. There's the one that wanted to be the influencer. Max points for you, and then Kane. That's got to be Kane McClelland. Let's sell you on Coach Prestige for the visit, and I'm not going to be able to sell you on anything because it doesn't line up. So let's get those 3 in particular on max points, and then we'll take a look at these potential transfers. You got to be a high-end player for me to bite here. That's not the case for Matthew Tubbs. Sorry, Tubbs. Brian Osborne. Also not going to cut it. What about Joey Gomes, or Gomez, if you prefer? Also not going to cut it. Joseph Boone. Attributes aren't bad, but you got to be super high-end for us to take you at this point, because we do still have plenty of people. Tavita Mo, not going to make it. What about Frank Mamula? Not the worst. Zone coverage. Good jumping. His house call has Legion. Can't really tackle. His awareness isn't great. Play recognition isn't great. What about Coco Maggio? And not bad, but competition level on the team is high. Jamerson Weeks. 96 speed quarterback. With option, king, and magician. As a sophomore. Might be worth bringing him in for the hell of it. We have the points. Why not? Daniel Herbig. Not going to cut it. What about the sophomore, Mateo Basanez? Good strength, great tackling, good pursuit and hit power. Agility, awareness, and speed, not great. I mean, for a DT, 90 strength, 90 tackle. His block shedding's not good. It says nothing about his power moves or finesse moves, so it scares me off. Grant Wetzel. Not bad, but pretty poor play recognition. And then Cortez Cantwell's the final guy to look at. Has quick drop. Doesn't look that bad, but again, he's a junior. You know, gonna risk it. We're only going for 4 more guys here over the course of these weeks. And aside from that, we have pretty much done our damage in terms of bringing in the high-end talent that we've needed. We get Brian Yolito out of Miami. And transfers be gems. I forget if they can. I don't think they can, right? I always forget that they can't. But I was looking a lot primarily at attributes and abilities that people happen to have. We also get Kane McClelland, an athlete showing up as a tight end out of Lake City, Florida. Yeah, I'm not too worried. Honestly, we can just sim out the weeks. I mean, we get people, we get people. Isaacs went to Georgia. Yeah, Weeks is the final guy. He's only a 3-star, so we're good. Our recruitment's pretty much done for the year. I am okay with that. We're in first for Jamerson now. Pretty quiet portal for us, unfortunately, but there is Jamerson Weeks out of Havana, Florida. Picked him up purely out of intrigue. And that means we're good. Nothing else to do. Still very bummed out about how that season ended, but I don't know, man. I don't know what the hell I was supposed to do on Heisman, to be honest. It's National Signing Day. Let's take a look at our new players for the very first time. Quarterback, the 4-star gem, Tim Puamau. Only impact dev. I was hoping for better. Definitely hoping for better. He is fast. He does have good throw power. Option king extender off platform. He's good. For a 4-star gem, you'd like to think that development would be better, so maybe it's not worth gem hunting. We'll see. He's one of a few. And then Jamerson Weeks has normal dev. He'll probably end up being a career backup for us if he even gets to that level. But he's not a bad backup to have for this year. Chaotic it would, which is why I'd probably opt out of doing that now. Star Dev for Jared Kaiser. Okay, so for him, 4-star gem did work out. Has safety valve, 92 speed, 92 acceleration, 88 agility. Not bad. Not bad, Jared. Wide out, we didn't get anybody at tight end. Impact Dev for the 4-star gem, Gabe Trapasso. His attributes, though, kind of suck. He has a blocking type, so we'll see. 4-star gem, George Stevenson. Elite Dev, tight end. Welcome in, Georgie boy. Love to see that elite dev pattern. Love to see that. And McClellan, 4-star, no gem. Impact dev, though. Probably will be a tight end as well, but he's an athlete. We can see where else he could play. On the O-line, star dev for 5-star recruit Lester Slauson. Who is pretty beastly. His default run block isn't great, but will definitely help out the pass block. At guard, normal dev for the 4-star Brian Yolito. Has pocket shield. Not the most mobile guy in the world. Run block, again, isn't the best. And then nobody at center. Defensive end. So the #1 recruit in the nation was only star dev. 5 stars, though, for Finau Chung. No abilities. Attributes are solid, but not the craziest thing I've ever seen, so you can only go off of the rankings board so much. And then star dev as well for Barry Flott, who you could argue is just as good, if not better, than Finau Chung. Down to where the muffins for the primer. Muffins, good to have you here the last couple nights. What else do we have here? Wow, 5-star gem Seth Deesh is only impact dev. How? Edge linebacker, 56. That, okay, yeah, gems might not be worth it then. That's, that sure makes it seem like a waste of points. 5-star gem, and he's only impact dev. Which, again, it goes normal, impact, star, elite. What is the point of finding a 5-star gem? How is he a gem? By what metric is this guy a gem? He doesn't have a crazy amount of abilities. His attributes aren't insanely good. They're good, but they're not insanely good. And he's only impact dev. By what definition is he a gem, then? I don't understand. That doesn't add up. That just doesn't add up. High starting overall? I mean, maybe, but again, his attributes aren't even that great. Not all of them. Like, they're fine. Meanwhile, Cormier, who wasn't a gem, is an elite. With pretty similar starting attributes. Maybe slightly worse, but he also has 92 acceleration. Whereas Seth had no 90 overall attributes that we know of. So Cormier, 5-star outright, is better than 5-star gem, Seth Deitch at the same position. I don't know about you. That doesn't make too much sense to me. We'll see how much higher of an overall Seth is, but it's not going to be that much higher. That doesn't make a ton of sense. Middle linebacker, we didn't get anybody. At corner, we didn't get anybody. Safety, David OG. Star Dev. 5-star Star Dev, okay. 90 speed. Fast as fuck, boy. He's only 5'11". He might be better suited at the corner. And then Impact Dev for 4-star outright Alan Paxson. Makes you wonder who we kicked as busts. Yeah, honestly, we might just have to start basing it off of the attributes that we see as opposed to gems and busts. It might just be worth solely looking at the attributes. And that might be for anybody. 1-star, I mean, who knows? I mean, 1-star, you presume the overall will be lower, but maybe not, right? Because, I mean, the bust gem really didn't seem to make much sense there. I mean, clearly the 5-star player in David Ogbong Bimiga is going to be a higher starting overall than Alan Paxson. So, stars do matter in that way, but bust and gem just seems really inconsistent. That's it for us this year. Very good recruitment class, but maybe not as good as you thought it could have been, right? Top classes, we finished number 8 in the country. Top 5 would have been nice, to be honest. I think we made a mistake because we knew need top 5 recruitment classes a couple of times, and we were never going to get it with 14 players. But also, I then would have had to cut some really good players to get that top 5 class. But we could have gotten it had we just signed a bunch of 3-stars. Yeah, 14 players in total, 6 of them 5 stars, 4 of them 7 stars. I don't know if that's the trade-off. Cut players I don't want to cut later on this offseason versus getting the first 5-star class that we needed. But worst in the nation, by the way. The shit continue to be shit. All states ranked, though. Go figure. Okay. So, again, I imagine
fanboy. The man was
there's actually a lot of different ways I could think to say that. I'm just going to say thank you for the follow. I appreciate it. Based off what we're seeing there, man, I don't know if gems and busts are worth looking at and worth investing into. I mean, granted, based off of that, 5-star gem not being anything special in terms of player dev, how important is player dev in the first place? I don't know if it's necessarily worth it. Quarterbacks heading into this next year. We got Brett Cole. He could play running back, but we're not going to move him, obviously. Picks aplenty, I think, was also best at QB. We got Jamerson Weeks, was a 78 with that 96 speed. He could play quarterback, he could play wideout, he could play line. Man, he could play anywhere. Holy shit. So this guy was clearly a former athlete. What are his attributes then? He's fast as fuck. Does have great throw power. Throw on the run's not bad. Carrying and vision, a little bit low to be a great running back. Okay. If I were to make you a defensive... Actually, I gotta put him at wide receiver really quickly so we can see that catch rating. What is that catch rating? 82? Not bad. He is 6'4". We can definitely catch. Hold on. Can he run routes? He can. He's not the best at it, though. And he does have good jumping. So if we were to put him at linebacker... What does he look like at linebacker? Strength isn't great. Awareness isn't great. Play recognition, tackling's all kind of mid. Block shedding. Power moves and finesse moves aren't bad. Been interesting. His block shedding and his tackling sucks. His pursuit's okay. Man and zone coverage are also okay. So definitely an edge on defense. You could go quarterback or wide out otherwise. So what we'll do is mark him down as someone that we could put at wideout or linebacker if we need somebody in one of those spots. What do we got for Bill Brasky? And could be a quarterback, could be a running back. But if they can play QB, I like to leave them there. And then Tim Puamau, another new addition. Can be a quarterback or a running back, so we'll leave him there. Weeks is the interesting one, because obviously he might disrupt Brasky a little bit. And he's got that crazy-ass speed, but probably not going to be our starter, you know? Everyone has good throw power, except for Pixaplenty. He's got the weakest throw power on the team at an 87. Puamau has decent carrying, decent vision. Puamau actually wouldn't be the worst guy in the world to move to running back. We'll make note of that. Keep an eye on that. At running back itself, we got Aegon Targaryen getting ready to head into his senior year. Again, he could also be a quarterback, a wideout. I still think running back is probably his best position. His catch rating isn't good enough to play wideout. He also can't really block all that well. What were your stats at QB? 77, yeah, 87 throw power. Obviously, he hasn't been developing as a QB. We'll move him back to running back. Lane Schilling, power back. Definitely in his best spot, so that's good. Han Dothmore, in his best spot. Want to make sure of all this. I mean, especially, too, after this season. Robert Baratheon, still in his best spot. That's good. And then Jared Kaiser, new receiving back that we picked up, is best at running back over wide receiver or tight end. Obviously, he doesn't quite have the size for tight end. Awareness sucks. His catch rating is a 77. Catching traffic isn't bad. His route running, aside from short route running, is horrific. So he's definitely got to stay at running back. And then old Booby Boosh. Best there, too. Yeah, I mean, you could argue just keep the quarterbacks where they are for the sake of the numbers. Keep the running backs where they are. We got Ron Mexico at fullback. We're not going to move him. Wide out, nobody knew, and we know that these guys are good enough there. Tight ends, we do have Gabe Trapasso, who's a blocking type. Could move him to fullback, but yeah, he's going to be a tight end as well. And then George Stevenson. Yeah, between fullback and tight end, we're just going to leave him there. We will have to sort out the offensive line again. Do you have anybody new? We lost quite a bit of talent on the O-line. Yolito is best as a guard. And a new right tackle. Slauson's a 78 out of the gates. That's not bad. He is also best at guard. Okay. So if we look here then. Lawson, Waterboy to go. We need a starting center. Probably going to be Brian Vega as just the best outright lineman on this team. Drops off by 2 points, but we need a big-time center. Yolito or Numblegs? Could we move one of you to center? Numblegs drops by 2. Let's just move them. That's fine. So a little bit of depth there. Not a ton, but a little bit. A little bit of depth there. Good depth at right tackle. Good depth at left tackle and left guard. Left guard could probably be split up a little bit more. Oliver Terry can apparently be a tight end, but we don't need any more. Let's put him at left guard. Now it's a hell of a lot of depth at left guard, though. Slauson might end up being the starter this year. Jesus. Honestly, he's a 79 out of the gates. We might have to make him the starter. We move Manziel's water boy to center. If we're going to factor in Slauson as a starter, that means we can move Oliver Terry back. There's a natural 78, as is Solo. Yeah, I guess we'll move Terry to right guard then. Or make it to go. God damn it, the freaking flag. Oliver Terry, please. Thank you. Put him at right guard. And then we can move either Numb Legs or George's over to left guard for just that little bit of extra cover. Oh, George, move you back over. And we should be good. Right? Like, we have 3, 4. Mo Bamba. We might have to move you over. A lot of competition in other spots. We'll Brian Yolito over. It's probably going to be red shirt. So, decent depth on the O-line. And, of course, we still haven't gone through training camp or anything. Old tweets got me canceled. Still best defensive end. He doesn't quite have the size for a DT. I am fast as Fuquoy. Still best on the defensive line for now. Could be a linebacker. Sloppy Joe III does have the size to be a defensive tackle. We'll put him over there. We do renaming. Yes, unlikely. Maul Walker, Texas Ranger, had a big year. Defensive end still the best for him. Finau Chung, I mean, he was the #1 recruit in the nation. He is a 79 overall out of the gates. That's not bad. He's a big boy. Worried about the dev pattern and him not, like, hitting super... Actually, I can't look at player cards here. I was wondering what his attribute caps were. Barry Flott. Also best at defensive end. He could make a good DT, though. The guy's almost 300 pounds. Mustafa. Best at defensive end. Could make a good linebacker. Could make a good DT. Lost to Wyoming. Best at DT. He's got the size for it. We got the depth now on the D-line. And then Blue Mimi. I think we're going to need linebackers more. So we'll move him over. So defensive end is an interesting position this year with the younger guys. I mean, the Barry Flotts, the Finau Chungs, the Texas Rangers. Shout out to Devo for the 3 months on the primer. Devo, thank you very much for that. How the heck are you? We're hanging in there. This team kind of pooped themselves at the end of the last season, but we're hanging in there. Doing what we can. I think Chung and Flott are going to be their starters next year, unless there's crazy development. Defensive tackle. Let's see who's the best here. We got Gene Parmesan. Definitely the best in that spot. I'm ready, friend. Best in that spot. That's fine. Not a great linebacker. Parmesan is a monster. He's an 82 as a non-redshirt sophomore. Playing like an 85 now. Crippling gambling addiction. A little bit undersized. A little bit. Let's move you off a defensive tackle. You are best at defensive tackle, but smidged undersized. We want to see the big boys at DT. Same thing here for Chamba Wamba. Who could play tight end awkwardly enough, but 6'1", 290. That's not a bad spot for him. Because the guy that we just moved, gambling addiction was 250. Flott's approaching freaking 300 pounds. He's a beast. We're to sort that by weight, though. We'd have to move Flott over and then Babaka. You know, we say that we only want the biggest of boys at defensive tackle. What would that look like? Right? What would that look like? God, the menu is so slow online to update who you're clicking on. Say we move Flott to defensive tackle. Parmesan's good. Friend, Mamba, Alpha, Flot, I mean. That's just, is that a circle? It sure is. It's okay. I think we just lose too much talent and stack too much talent in one spot of flavor. Strawberry kiwi. Okay. I also have another idea. We got a couple of different ways to set this up. Blue raspberry and Honeycrisp apple. Blue raspberry is good. I haven't tried Honeycrisp apple, to be honest. Might need to give it a shot. I think I'm going to try something different in the way we've been setting up the team then. I think I am. Let's go back to our old style of sorting it by speed rating. We want slightly faster guys at linebacker because I feel like we're constantly getting torched. Let's see. If we were to set this up, what we'd look like. So anybody sub 70 speed can be DT. If you're in the 70s, put you on defensive end. That way, you know, the defensive ends still have some speed. But then if you're on 80 speed, I don't even care. Like Mustafa, that's gonna be a big ass fucking linebacker. But I'm here for it. And that way, we optimize speed in the secondary. Shout out to Nerd for the 23 months, and indeed, the decision was made. Yes, and then like Sloppy Joe, we'd move the defensive end. I don't know if I'm allowed to have 3 defensive tackles. Am I allowed to move Lost to Wyoming? Back over to defensive end? Yes, I am. Okay. Yeah, if we were to sort that on speed rating. Old Tweak got me canceled. We'd want to move to defensive tackle. Even if he's a bit undersized. What if we just base everything that we're doing here on speed? Screw optimizing what their best rated position is, shit like that, because that ain't working. What if we do this? Certainly gives us some fast fucking linebackers. Jalen Hurts would be good enough to move into the frickin' secondary. He might not be the best at it. Certainly give us a hell of a lot of linebackers. A little bit short on defensive ends. Honestly, I'm not opposed. I am not opposed to trying this strategy. I mean, yeah, like Korea, 83 speed, way too damn slow. Way too slow. I mean, clearly we're getting torched. That might be your highest rated position, but it's not working. So screw highest rated positions. Let's just put people where it makes sense based off of their athletic ability. And we'll hope for the best. Right? Did you one and done Conference USA? No, we lost in the conference title game to Mid-Tennessee. Absolutely choked it. 78 speed for White Ford Bronco. Jesus Christ. You're going all the way to defensive end. Even if you're terrible there, I don't care. Speed in the 70s. Speed in the 60s. I don't care if we end up technically having a crap load of linebackers. That's fine for me. Technically, 89 speed. You could move Guy B and Dudes and freaking 27-0 because they'll get better in the offseason to the secondary, but I'm not going to worry about it unless we need the numbers. I'm going to see what the numbers look like for this, and then if we have to move people back to hit position minimums, we'll do it. Like right now, we can't move Putty over. But like I said, it's worth trying something different now, and hopefully that'll help the team perform at a bit of a higher level. All we can hope to do. This is how we used to set it up in 14, so maybe it'll work here. Move you to corner for the moment. that I can move Putty, linebacker, temporarily. No, I cannot. Okay, so 89 speed is going to have to be a threshold. So Madagascar, we're going to move back over to the secondary. Anybody else with super high-end speed? Guy being dudes. You're back in the secondary. And honestly, the frickin' linebacker, 27-0. You might not be as good in the secondary, but you are still decent. We'll move Alan Paxson back over. And that can be that. Hell of a lot of linebackers. But that is okay. That works. We still have some athletes, too, I believe. Kicker and punter. Obviously, we got to go with Tory Butts as our primary kicker now. Has more accuracy and the same power as Coco for Cocoa Puffs. So then in terms of the athletes that we actually only have one, and that's Kane McClelland. 84 speed. 74 carrying. 81 catching. Decent route runner, but not the best. I mean, if you were to argue tight end, he's not the best route runner in the world. I don't think he quite has the speed that we would want for a wide out anyway. What's his defense look like? He is a decent blocker. 86 tackling. Decent finesse moves. Not the best in coverage. That 86 tackling is interesting. I think, again, we have ourselves another linebacker here. I'm okay with that. I am okay with that for Mr. McClellan. So, just to check here. Out of intrigue. Okay. Let's keep going down this little rabbit hole here, then. I'm up for it. Communications major, you got way too much speed to be a tight end. We need you on the outside. Use that speed. Be a burner. Be a burner. Big Beef. I don't know if you're going to be great there, but I'm putting you at running back. We're going to put Squatting Fish. No, we're not. Not allowed to move them. Wideouts. Let's move Veto Power to running back. I'm going to have my fastest offensive players at wide receiver. The rest will be at running back. We are just basing everything we do now on having the fastest players in the fastest spots and trying to make the most of it. And is this an overreaction to those back-to-back losses? Maybe. But again, also, I'm using this particular run as a way to experiment around a little bit, you know? So that's what we're going to do. I'm not really too worried about what it says overalls are going to be. I don't know if I believe in this system, even though I was very happy to see this particular change. Alright. Let's see. Communications major, because you just don't hit that threshold. Let's actually put you at running back. Everyone there is at least 90 speed. I know some of the ratings suck, but I'm not too worried about that. Anybody else with 70 speed? The answer is no. We do have a good amount of wideouts. I would like to move those two to running back, but based off of the speed ratings, we were to move Big Beef back to tight end. Who's the lowest of the bunch? The highest of the bunch. It's Ender's Scuffed Mike. Congratulations, you're going to a position that's apparently absolutely terrible. They get off-season training. Exactly. So we're going to take a look at the off-season training and see how effective that is at making some of these guys a little bit better, you know? Technically move Targaryen back to quarterback. That's fine. And he would just get cut. Okay. Tight ends, we got the O-line sorted. Offensively, that should be fine. with those two developing. Defensive tackle, we're going to be looking pretty good. And then obviously we are going to have a shat load of linebackers. But I think we're okay. Could maybe argue, is there anyone with 88 speed? There is an 87 in Juan Cormier. I think I need one more guy for the secondary. So let's move Juan Cormier over. Yeah, and if we sort this out... Donnie, what's going on, buddy? How are you? Let's see. Juan Cormier, where are you best? AD slot corner. Actually, you know what? So from here, let's take a look. So he cannot play man at all, but he can play zone. He's staying. These two with at least, 80 man coverage for 27-0. How's the stream going? It's been an interesting one. And it's about to get even more interesting with the approach I'm taking to setting up our team. Corner, 99 man coverage for guy being dudes. These two cannot play man coverage at all. So let's move you guys over to safety and then see how many corners we actually have. If we're looking at least a 70 for man coverage. We'll move Madagascar 2 over to corner. And then my Jalen Hurts is actually going to go from linebacker to corner. But I'm here for it. So then we got these safeties that we can try to split up, have them in their best position. Flag bearer, same overall, regardless of where he plays. Cord DeRoy, same overall, regardless of what side he's on. It is worth double checking this. David Ogbongbamiga, same no matter what. And then Cormier was also the same no matter what, right? Yeah. Okay. So, they're not the tallest guys in the world. They're not the tallest. But that's okay. Because at least they're fast as fuck. Most of them, at least. So, Ogbong will move to strong safety. And we'll move Corduroy over there as well. And that way we have the fastest and the slowest of the bunch of safeties in the same position, just in case. And then I totally forgot about Paxson. But to be honest, it's fine that he's there as well. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 corners. Isn't bad. And obviously, there's all the linebackers. We could say... Let's see. Man coverage is decent for red shirt me daddy. We're going to move him to corner. Anybody over an 85 speed is going to be eligible to play corner for us then. Because we don't have like a 5'9 corner. Not yet. And the other guy over an 85 was Pistol Pete Not Gay, who cannot play man at all, but could play zone. We can move him over to safety. Even if he's not particularly great there, we can still move him over. And again, maybe off-season development will help. That gives 3 and 3. And then 7 corners is a pretty good balance. Again, I'm really not worried about overall ratings at this stage. Then for the linebackers, who can actually play man zone coverage, that is. Definitely Darkwing Duck. God, no wonder why we can never fucking defend. Jesus Christ. Those 3 guys are in the 70s. We'll also move Paul Correa to middle linebacker. And then everybody else can be on the edge. At least that way, for middle linebackers, we have guys that can actually play coverage. 6, 2. Honestly, the way that was sorted out kind of works. Like I said, willing to try something new this year. Why not? Why not? I mean, I know we had a pretty good season, but This is definitely our fuck around and find out dynasty. And I think this could work. Because again, like we had Colt last year, who's a natural running back. We moved him to wideout, and he was great. So there is a chance that this could work out just fine. Especially now, if scouting-wise, I might start paying a little bit more attention, of course, to outright attributes over anything else, because that does seem to be the most important, as opposed to whether or not they're a gem. So we have 20 coaching points to put on, but in terms of the ratings, Cole is up to an 82, technically an 85. Picks up plenty. And Brasky got better. For the running backs, I mean, people definitely got better. Communications majors is 71. I just wonder what the overalls are going to look like elsewhere. So yeah, for some of the wideouts, still not looking like the hottest overalls out there, but we know their attributes are better than what the overalls showing them would indicate, because we know how good these guys were. I mean, granted, some of these guys' catch ratings are fucking atrocious, but if we can train them up, we can train them up. O-line, looking good. E-line, couple 77s at the moment, an 82, and I'm ready, friend. Defensive tackle Gene Parmesan looks insane. The hell is his player card? Does have star dev. Can get a little bit better at run stopping and power. Unlimited potential on his power moves. IQ, unlimited potential on power and finesse moves, and his quickness can still go up. Yeah, Gene Parmesan's going to be an absolute monster. So clearly, like, 5 stars still matters in terms of rating, but in terms of gem versus bust, I don't know, man. I don't know how important that is, actually. Now that we've seen how this plays out. Linebackers, again, now we got a lot of speed at the linebacker position. Middle linebackers who can actually fucking play zone. And then the corner ratings look great. Right? Corner ratings look really good. Especially guy being dudes. Safety ratings, not bad. Our kicker's a 78, our punter's only a 70, but I'm willing to test this. Like, our overall ratings aren't that much worse than what they were before. And we know that we kind of now have some players in arguably a better position to succeed than what they were in. So in terms of our upgrade tree, or our coach, there's nothing else we can do on the recruitment side. We decided to spec into Tactician more than Motivator. Although you could argue maybe Motivator would be worth it. How much did Tactician help? But, now is the time to spec heavily, fully, I'm gonna say, into our defensive backs. Let's just max this out. Give them a boost across the board. We need to see some lockdown defense, gentlemen. Let's hope that's what we get. Both coordinators speccing into Scheme Guru as well. Or Tactician, whatever it might be called, for their particular tabs, so I'm good with that. We'll go to the transfer list before we talk about the conference changes. We're actually undersized by 7 players, so we're not cutting anybody. Which I'm fine with. Perfectly fine with. So in terms of the conferences, again, changes have to be made. More people have to be bumped up. We're going to change it from 12 teams a conference to 13. So at independent status, Ball State is getting promoted up to Conference USA for relegated El Paso. That is the first change, right? But from there, I'm looking at the standings from last year. Ooh, how is this going to work? How is this going to work? This is going to be a little bit tricky. But I think we're okay. You might want to start at the top and go from there. That's not a bad idea, because obviously we're definitely going to end up with less teams in independent status. Give me a second. So from Conference USA, Mid-Tennessee promoted as champions since they beat us. They're heading to the MAC to replace South Alabama. Let me go through this as I would normally go through it, and then we'll make the adjustments that we're talking about. South Bama is down. In the MAC, promoted as champions were Bowling Green. They are heading to the Sun Belt to replace Texas State. Absolutely had chat vote on what the most prestigious conferences were, so that's how that's been decided. Sunbelt champion was Wake Forest. They're heading to the American Conference for Arkansas State. And Wake Forest will be up for Arkansas State. Who's the weakest conference? We had chat vote on what the weakest conference would be. The weakest conference right now is independent status. Aside from that, it's Conference USA. American Conference champion BYU. Mormons are heading to the Mountain West to replace Fresno State. So BYU on the way up. Fresno State, at the very least, is going down. Mountain West champions were Rutgers. They are heading to the Pac-12 to replace the California Golden Bears. Welcome, Rutgers. If you thought them in the Mountain West was weird, they're now in the Pac-12. Might be equally as weird. Champions of the Pac-12 were Houston. They're heading to Tier 4, the ACC, in favor of SMU. That change. Champions of the ACC were the UCLA Bruins. They head to the Big 12 for Miami. Very, very rough season for Miami this past year. Champions of the Big 12 were North Carolina. They head to the Big 10 to replace Oklahoma State, who had an absolutely atrocious season. And then the champions of the Big 10 were... Actually, wasn't it Boston College that were relegated over Miami? Forgot to write it down who it was. Why do I feel like Boston College was relegated over Miami? That just sounds too familiar. I misclicked somewhere. Didn't I? Definitely feel like I misclicked somewhere. No, Miami was dropped to the ACC. Miami of Ohio. Well, Miami was dropped. We go back. Well, no, Miami was listed in last. You know, I think it was right, and if it's not, fuck it. It is what it is. I'm not using it anymore. So champions of the Big 10, if I just helped Boston College, then so be it. But I could have sworn they got relegated, but I might be wrong. Wisconsin are going to the SEC for the Oklahoma Sooners. Wisconsin are up the top tier. Sooners get dropped. That'll be almost the top tier. So then from the top, since we need an extra team in this tier, the team that finished in second in the Big 10 was USC. So USC, because I need 13 teams per conference now, are also heading into the top tier. And then we're going to make sure that it's 12 conference games a season. Conference championship game, top team by conference. So that way, you should have a full schedule of playing nobody else but the teams in your conference. So, yeah, number 13 is going to be USC. For the Big 10, that obviously means we'll need to bring up 2 teams. Second place team in the Big 12 was Pittsburgh. So they're moving up. And the third place team was TCU. They are also moving up. So we're rewarding the teams that finished the highest last year, since we have to modify what these conferences are looking like to actually have this idea work out a bit better without some glitched out schedules. From the ACC, Nebraska finished in second. So they're also heading to the Big 12. As are the Washington Huskies and Iowa. Get that up to 13. So again, we have Nebraska, Washington, and Iowa up to tier 3. I know it shows last season's record, but that also, I have it in front of me. It's fine. But I mean, if you're talking about like checking between Miami and Boston College was 3-8. Miami was 2-9. That's what it was. Okay. Moving up from tier 5 in the Pac-12, Illinois is heading to the ACC, as are the national champions, Kansas State. Let's see. So we have Illinois, Kansas State, Tulane, and the last team moving up from the Pac-12 will be Cincinnati. So Cincy is up. And there we go. So obviously this means the independent tier is going to be shrinking big time. Let's see. In the Pac-12, filling up those spots from the Mountain West, we have Oregon State, Mississippi State, we have Liberty, and Justice for All. Washington State, and San Antonio, all moving up due to this change to, again, stop a glitched out schedule. 13 teams is the way to go. That is the new Pac-12. Beautiful. All right. So yeah, this is going to work out much better. Much better. Tier number 7. Let's see. The American Conference going to the Mountain West. We have Northwestern, Kansas, UAB, Nevada, Northwestern, Kansas, UAB, Nevada. Also from the American, we need the Ragin' Cajun of Louisiana. And then the final team that's going to get this bump up, because we're shifting the conferences based on last year's standings, is South Florida in the Mountain West. Tremendous. All right. Newly reworked there. Sunbelt. Rice finished in first, but didn't win the conference, but they are still going to go up to the American. We are also going to see Colorado State move up. Arkansas State will stay down here because they were relegated last year. So Florida Atlantic also moved to the American. We have Louisiana Tech. Fuckers that beat us in the bowl game. Western Kentucky. Temple. And the final team, thanks to the reshuffle, is Coastal Carolina. Again, we got Rice, Colorado State, Florida Atlantic, Louisiana Tech, Western Kentucky, Temple, and Coastal Carolina getting those bump ups. And that sets us up for the MAC. Moving up from the MAC will be FIU. The Sun Belts. We have UMass making the move up. Texas State got relegated, so we have Sam Houston. App State. Jacksonville State. The Troy Trojans. Tulsa. And the last team will be Hawaii. You can see the gigantic reshuffle that we have here just from adding one extra team to each conference, but we're still factoring in the history of what we have done. And that way it's fair and square for everybody. Now, the big question. The MAC. We finished second in Conference USA last year. That means by right, we should get promoted. However, we didn't earn it. I'm keeping us in Conference USA. We didn't earn it. Everybody else can move up, even if they lost a conference title game, but we didn't earn it. So Eastern Michigan is heading to the MAC, as are Georgia State. Central Michigan. Georgia Southern. Southern Mississippi. Marshall. This one's gonna hurt. Wyoming is moving up without us. New Mexico State. Here's the problem. I run out of teams to properly call up because we hit the end of the list. So it's either we give Ball State we'll give Ball State double promotion since they were promoted last year from Indy to Conference USA. Instead of us going up, we didn't earn it. Ball State's getting double promotion. They're going to be in the MAC. To be fair, Heisman did cheat us. The problem is, though, we were losing anyway, right? Like, I can't guarantee that even if it was on All-American, that I would have been able to pull off that comeback. I just can't guarantee that. So, I'm cool with spending another season in Tier 10. We blew it at the end of the year. We didn't win the conference. We didn't win the bowl game. I mean, actually, San Jose State can go up instead of Ball State. For the MAC. Never mind, Ball State. You're still stuck down here with us. So you got Marshall. I almost missed the team. Wyoming will no longer be mandatory for us until we get promoted. And then New Mexico State, 13th team. The new MAC. So that means Conference USA. I don't think I'm allowed to move San Jose State until I call up other teams. UTEP was relegated. So we have ODU coming to Conference USA. That'll allow me to move these guys to the MAC. There we go. Numbers, take it easy, man. Appreciate you hanging out. Let's see. We got ODU coming here. Let's sort this. Mexico, Ohio, Northern Illinois, James Madison, Kennesaw State, Navy, Air Force, Kent State, and the final team that get the call up, unfortunately not Army. It ends up being Buffalo. Independent status is not eliminated. It is still going to be there. So Conference USA, Old Dominion, New Mexico, the Ohio Bobcats, Northern Illinois, James Madison, Kennesaw State, Navy, Air Force, Kent State. Plus, if you eliminate the independent tier, the game gets a little bit weird. Ball State and Buffalo. So instead of the top tier only having 4 teams, because more often than not they can only play each other and FCS teams, it makes sense to have the worst 4 teams in the country play themselves and FCS teams, and that way the best team of the bunch against one another in the FCS teams gets promotion. So it makes sense to have Indy at the bottom with 4 teams, because when you only have 4 teams in independents, they all play each other and line up the schedule with the FCS teams. We've already seen that. So that's something that we learned, right? So, a lot of changes, but again, it's going to make sense because we're going to go 12 conference games, and most teams only play 12 games a year, right? So every division going to have 12 conference games. That way everyone is guaranteed to play 12 games a year, instead of some teams randomly only playing 11, or sometimes they play the 12th game the week after conference championship week. It's bizarre. It's bizarre. So from what I can tell, this is the best way to solve that issue. And again, we'll keep ourselves down in Tier 10, Conference USA, because we did not get promoted. We don't deserve it. We don't deserve it. We should have. We should have. But it didn't happen. How many FCS schools are in the game? What is it, like 4? So they'll end up like double scheduling FCS teams throughout the year. Yeah, from the test run that we started to do with the series that almost replaced this one, this is the best way to go for promotion, relegation, custom conferences. All right, there it is. Everyone's ready to go. So again, we will be in Conference USA with those 12 teams. We're still, by this definition, pretty much right back at a base level. Except we're an 86 overall team, and the next highest overall at the moment is 80 overall Navy, who beat us last year. So we'll see how it plays out, but that is the best way now to move forward.